Page? What page? What page is that? What sutta? Oh, there is in the sutta it is mentioned that this neutral feeling, there is a tendency to be ignorant of it. Being ignorant of it means you don't notice it. But whether you notice it or you don't notice it, it still exists. Doesn't matter whether you notice it or you don't notice it. It is still equanimity.
What I mean is that when a person has ignorance, so he will feel the neither painful nor pleasant feeling. When a person doesn't have ignorance, he will feel the equanimity.
This ignorance is different from the dependent origination ignorance. This is ignorant of the feeling, not aware, not mindful of the feeling.
When he still has ignorance, ignorant of all this, the feeling and all this, how to stop the karma and all these things. So you will have the feeling, when the feeling, neither painful nor pleasant feeling. That is a feeling of the nature, you feel that way. So when he doesn't have any more ignorance, realize the truth and all this, so you have the equanimous feeling.
It's the same, isn't it?
It's the same, but because of the ignorance there. When a person has ignorance and then the other person don't have ignorance anymore.
I don't see the point. What is the point? Now we are talking about what's the difference between between equanimity and neither painful nor pleasant feeling.
That is different. That means this feeling, the feeling neither painful nor pleasant feeling is still not arahant feeling. It is, this feeling can be like common people who have this feeling.
I don't think so, no? Because yeah.
I think what Samyutta is trying to say is the equanimity as in the fourth jhana quality, rather than the normal equanimous feeling when we are not in jhana. I think it's comparing the...
Is that what you're trying to say?
They describe it in this way. In this way they describe it. The feeling. A person of this will experience this way. The other person will experience it.
Where is it stated?
The same feeling, but it's described in another way.
But where is it stated?
It's not stated anymore.
When we read the sutta, the Buddha says that the carnal equanimity and the spiritual equanimity that differentiates the two equanimity.
Yes. So the carnal equanimity is this sensual pleasure can also give rise to equanimity sometimes, as I mentioned, like when a person is very hot, outside is very hot, he's bothered by the heat, so he's feeling unpleasant body feeling and unpleasant mental feeling. And he enters the aircon room, then the aircon cools down all his feelings, then he's feeling equanimity. So this equanimity, Putu Jhana can also experience. It's also called equanimity. And then spiritual equanimity, that's on page 1285. 1285. Carnal equanimity is because of the 5 chords of sensual pleasure, he can also experience equanimity. Then spiritual equanimity is the 4th jhana. It's a higher kind of equanimity because it lasts long. If he enters the jhana for 1 hour, he experiences only equanimity for 1 hour. Whereas the other one, the first one, carnal equanimity, the feelings are changing all the time. So he may feel equanimous for a short while, and then after that his feelings change again. So equanimity is not only experienced by the Arahant, it's experienced by Putujana, it can be experienced by anybody.
Firstly, we would like to ask about the short formula for Satipatthana, when Buddha uses the phrase where with a monk would draw body in body, feeling, etc., and then having put aside covetousness for the world and
grief.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Some people would put grief and pleasure. But then can you explain that means they have overcome, the monk will have overcome some hindrances?
No, you didn't notice. I explained this, I think, more than once. That if an ordinary person, you are moved by the six sense objects, sights, sounds, smells, tastes, and all that, because you pay attention to them. Then, when you are moved by them, when they give you pleasant feeling, you crave for it. So that craving for it gives rise to covetousness. Covetousness is wanting to covet, wanting to possess. So wanting to possess something is an unwholesome state. It's an unwholesome state. It gives rise to defilements. And then if you cannot get it, then you feel grief. The other extreme, you feel grief. So that's why if a person is not careful, he doesn't guard the six sense doors, then he will feel these unwholesome states of covetousness and grief coming to attack him. Having put aside, that means he has trained his mind to be to withdraw from the six sense bases and put it only on the four objects of Satipatthana. So when he puts it only on the four objects of Satipatthana, then he has put aside the covetousness and the grief for worldly things, because he does not pay attention to the six sense doors. Correct?
I was wondering that we can do that, and we must be very meditated in order to be in that state.
It depends, because this Satipatthana is just like concentration. If a monk is trying to practice concentration, if he has not perfected his concentration, has not attained jhana, he is only trying to attain jhana. You see? So in the same way, if a person is practicing Satipatthana, it might be that he is only trying to practice Satipatthana. He has not perfected it yet. But when he has perfected it, then he attains samadhi, jhana.
The note say that at this stage, assume that we have done away with two hindrances. Two of the first hindrances, plus we have been able to attain the four indriyas.
Is that what the notes say in the commentary? Oh, there's a commentaries. So probably that's a wrong interpretation. That's the danger with commentarial interpretations. Sometimes they misinterpret something.
What's the difference between samadhi and jhana, and how to move from samadhi?
Okay, samadhi means concentration. Okay. Now in the suttas, in the Noble Eightfold Path, the Buddha talked about samma samadhi, as perfect samadhi. Okay, perfect samadhi. perfect samadhi in the Suttas is the 4 jhanas. That means you must attain up to the 4th jhana. That is perfect samadhi. Okay? But sometimes in the Suttas, whenever the Suttas talk about samadhi, the Buddha automatically means perfect samadhi. But that means since perfect samadhi is the 4th jhana, so the first jhana is not perfect samadhi. It's just concentration, it's just samadhi, one type of samadhi. First, second and third is not perfect samadhi. So jhana, first jhana, second jhana, third jhana is not necessarily perfect samadhi. Only the 4th jhana is perfect samadhi. In other words, to become an arahant, you need 4 jhanas. If you have just 1, 2 and 3, you might become a sakadagamin, second fruit attainer. If you want to attain 3rd fruit and 4th fruit, you must have 4 jhanas. So you look in the case our Siddhartha Gotama, our Buddha, he said in the previous life he had met the Buddha Kassapa, and then after learning the Dhamma from the Buddha Kassapa, he renounced, became a monk, and then after that lifetime he went to the Tusita heaven, and after Tusita heaven he came down as Siddhartha Gotama and became the Sakyamuni Buddha. Okay, so when he was a small boy, Siddhartha Gotama, about 10 years old, could attain the 1st jhana. Right? It's mentioned. So, since as a small boy he could attain the 1st jhana, it shows most probably he learned this 1st jhana when he was a monk under the Buddha Kassapa. That means in that lifetime as a monk under Buddha Kassapa, he did not attain higher than the 1st jhana. So having attained the 1st jhana and learned the Dhamma, very probably he became a Sakadagamin. That's why when he went up to Tusita heaven and came down as Siddhartha Gotama, it was time for him to attain enlightenment. Sakadagamin is a once returner, comes back as a human being only once, must enter Nibbana.
Just like to clarify, sometimes we have meditation, we have a very good concentration, very calm and all that. Then how do we know whether that is just a pure calmness or whether jhana and all this? What is the border of the border between this normal calmness and jhana?
If you want to understand, then you look into the sutta, the description of the 1st jhana. In the description of the 1st jhana, the Buddha says, secluded or aloof from sensual pleasures, aloof from unwholesome states. Aloof from sensual pleasures, that means he doesn't pay any attention to the sense doors. He does not pay attention to sights, sounds, smells, tastes and all that. And then aloof from unwholesome states. He has no unwholesome thoughts. Does not think about the house, does not think about the office and all that. Then the monk enters and dwells in the 1st jhana, which is accompanied by 5 factors. Vitaka, vichara, thought directed and sustained. And then piti and sukha, delight and happiness. And then ekagata, one-pointed mind. So, if you enter the 1st jhana, you must have these 5 factors. If you don't have these 5 factors, and you have not entered, and you notice these 5 factors does not include the light. Nowadays, a lot of meditation teachers talk about the light. It's not inside here. Okay, shall we stop here tonight?